Welcome to MMO Grinder Sidequest, where I take a look at early open or closed betas, subscription trials, and simpler titles, giving you a quick first impression. Today I'll be looking at For Honor. Well, not really sure how to classify it. It's medieval combat, letting you take control of a warrior from three factions, the Knights, the Vikings, and the Samurai. It's PvP focused with a 3D third-person combat system that combines MOBA elements and fighting game elements, except not really. There's talk of a single-player campaign, but this beta only focused on the PvP, so I can't give impressions on that. Also, it's by Ubisoft, if that's something you feel the need to know. Recently released into a closed and then open beta, For Honor is set to release on Valentine's Day for the standard AAA price. The game's graphics do their job. They didn't seem too hard to run for me, but I feel it's a game that some might have trouble running, if Uplay lets their computer work at all, that is. It adds a lot of physics-based movement to plenty of objects, including individual armor pieces and details, and the whole thing ends up looking rather smooth. The armor itself is done with a stylized to the period aesthetic, with hammer-beaten armors, thick leather hides, and wood-grain face masks. And of course, the Vikings still wear those stupid horned helmets they never actually wore in real life. Can we stop spreading that falsehood already, or are we just going to keep getting history lessons from Bugs Bunny cartoons and football logos? Animations of attacks have some real weight to them when applicable, and planting an axe in a fallen foe's head, or removing it completely with a sword slash, is a nice visceral finishing animation that even serves a gameplay purpose. Music is mostly the droning of war drums and war horns, but most of the battles be serenaded by the wondrous sounds of metal clashing, bones breaking, flesh being slashed open, or the constant screams of battle. It's definitely made as more of an ambient experience than anything you just kinda jam to while laying waste to your foes or taking a naginata to the face. While the game asks you to choose a faction for the tutorial, you're not locked out of any warriors from the game itself. The tutorial is a simple affair, impossible to fail, and teaching you only the very basics of movement, combat, and gameplay. If you want to know more useful tips and tricks that might actually help you in combat, you'll need to go into the advanced practice mode. Combat is the most unique feeling thing in this game, the kind of thing that you would expect to see if you combine the MMO's Age of Conan with Blade and Soul, and not bothered with hotkey skills, as it's mostly focused on targeting specific directions as well as shielding yourself, but then allowing you to perform combos with the correct attack sequence. Once entering guard mode, target an enemy, using either the mouse or the right analog stick on the controller will select either the left, right, or top orientation to either attack in that direction or block incoming attacks. Individual combat can be very intense, waiting for the right time for your opponent to drop their guard, force them off of it, or wear out their stamina while maintaining your own, until one of you is taken down or retreats. While I found mouse and keyboard easy to understand, I felt the mouse made choosing attack and defense directions rather unreliable, so I'd recommend a controller if you have one. Once your opponent is left with no HP, they'll be taken down, but be left available to be revived in modes where that's a mechanic, unless you hit them with a heavy attack last, in which you'll have a small window to perform a brutal execution maneuver on them, making it impossible for a teammate to revive them. Or you can just ensure the same thing by tossing them off a cliff. 3 game modes are available at the time: Deathmatch, Dominion, and Duel. Deathmatch is basically what it sounds like. It's a 4v4 map where characters battle it out to the last team standing. Interestingly, you can revive your teammates that have fallen if you reach them in time, but you leave yourself open for attack. It's possible to have nearly the entire enemy team taken down and then have to face all of them returning if you're not watching their fallen allies. The matches start with each teammate facing off against one enemy, and you can choose to face who you're up against, or flee to join and assist your ally. You'll find that your matchup isn't always the most fair fight. Dominion is the most MOBA-like of the 3 modes, having 3 points to capture and an army of soldier mooks to escort to the point, serving as protection for yourself and the point, while facing off against enemy champion soldiers. Once one team earns enough points, it forces an elimination round, and once all the enemy soldiers are defeated, the match ends. You can respawn or be revived in this mode. Duel is basically the 1v1 or 2v2 me bro, where you face off against other players in a best of 5 match. While I have fun with the other modes, I do find that this mode is the most intriguing, as it's entirely up to you whether you win or lose. No worrying if teammates are placing power-up collection over your revival, or dying instantly by falling off of a tower. Yeah, speaking of, I don't think many people get this game right now. Like, the players I've been allied with are almost always running headlong into battle without checking, forgetting to block any attacks, spamming revival requests when they die, or once being revived, running off to snag more power-ups instead of pushing back the advancing horde. I kinda hate deathmatch mode is what I'm getting at. Even the AI bots are coordinated and supporting each other flawlessly, while the players don't. It doesn't help that friendly fire is possible, and I don't even think the game tells you this. I'm pretty sure just a wild axe swing that I let loose during a group brawl had caught my ally in the face and taken down a good chunk of their health. The audible shout of concern from the guy over voice chat confirmed it, so that's an extra layer of worry among multiplayer matches. All in all, I know there's hype and marketing trained for this game, but it's a simpler kind of title that I don't understand all the excitement over. Those who enjoy it really enjoy it, but I can see why. If anything, it does seem like a good game for getting in a few quick matches, or really studying your opponent and getting into their head. But whether or not the PvP modes or the upcoming campaign would be worth the asking price tag to you will remain to be seen. This has been an MMO Grinder Sidequest, and it's time I logged out.